were to just say, how much time does the earth have? The oceans is already messed up. The coral is dying in the ocean. The fish is half eating half plastic. Okay, so how much time we got left? You know what I mean? Of course, it's not our responsibility, but we have to put that in our management scheme now. And we have history, we have religious, Quranic, biblical guidelines to show where a society was at a certain time, and kind of how much, so we get a feel. That's why we got a feeling that, oh my goodness, it don't look like we got a whole lot of time left to correct this. So we have to think, well, is this the time of the end of the line for this dispensation, or will it be corrected? Okay, in the past, most of it, when it got at this stage of decline, there was no correction. Okay, but we're optimistic and hopeful, so we want to institute correction. Ability to dictate terms of participation. This is something Negroes have never had any. That you're going to dictate to the government our terms of participation. If you want us to help rescue you, which that's what our whole program is, rescue humanity, right? But we're going to dictate the terms of participation. This is how we're going to do this. Why? Because you're a bad boy. You've always been bad. It don't look like you can do good. And when we start doing good, we're going to have to become strong enough to resist your bad behavior, because, it'll recur. You'll be sleeping one night and wake up right in the middle of some evil and come try to institute it. So we have to put a check on you. That's the language things are so serious now that we have to use the correct language that we mean. No allegories, no nothing like that. No. Holy. You're headed for the wall. If you want any guidance around the wall, over the wall, or under the wall, then you're going to have to, work with us on that. According to our dictates, not yours. That's what makes boss man uncomfortable. And that's what makes us sound like somebody that's crazy, unless you've been coming here a long time. You would know, you know what I mean, that this stuff is actually real. Okay? So, let's see. Strategic environmental engineering, Tazkiyah bil Nafs. That's the key for success, technically. Tazkiyah bil Nafs, purification of the self, or the cleansing of the self. The Nafs. That's not only here, that's Oakland, but wherever we interact with the system, it has to be on a level of purification of Nafs. There's nothing that they could use to divert us away. Not money, not women, not none of that. The normal stuff, you have to... Last thing I want to talk about is one of the old cycles we talked about. There's two. Birth, growth, death. Birth, growth, decline, and death. This is one of the physical cycles that we see. Everything is subject to that except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Lam Yalid, Allah wasn't born, and Allah ain't gonna die, and Allah, okay. But everything else that Allah created is subject to this birth or rebirth. Growth, reaching its, then decline and death, just like a body was born, nice little baby, you know, we get a little bigger, a little stronger, then all of a sudden we start getting aches and pains and we can't hardly walk and then we can't hardly see. That's decline and then we die. That's a cycle and that's a normal cycle. Just like the weather has its cycles, winter, summer, da, 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 da. So, for our movement, we have been born and been in I think we're delayed delivery. We've been in the womb so long of this birth cycle, you know, that we have to come out of it and institute this with the people. You know, it's growth. Real human growth, not growth like boss man always filling up your organization. He fill it up with everybody, and then he pull the string and they all leave. But this time, to solve this problem, we have to have a magical yet real process of attracting and holding people that will institute this whole process. And then it will grow and it will spread to all humanity. And that will be our job for our cycle, you know, like we live in an era, in a time. And we're not responsible for the past, we're not responsible for the future. But this is our cycle. This is our cycle, and this is our time, right? And I'll tell you, I'm happy, thankful to Allah, personally, for allowing me to, because most of the friends, they didn't get through this cycle. They got, boss man is so mean, he got rid of the brothers, 50 years ago, you know, and all that, and 40 years ago. And it's a reason when you survive and thrive in an environment, it's for a reason, especially when you seeking out for what reason was I kept on the scene. That's like mission, you know, we talked about it before, mission and vision. And in this process of evolution, eventually you begin to see what methods and processes will really work. You know, it's coming from Allah. That's the Hidayah. You know, it's coming from Allah. And that's the way we feel today. Again, I just want to revert to Tazkiyah bil Nafs, purification of the self. Without it, none of this will work. Are there any questions or comments about anything that was said? Remember, we talked about science fiction management. That was about 15 to 20 years ago when we was talking about science fiction management.
Right.
Do you remember that? Yes. That means that the stuff we're talking about now, we wanted to talk about it then, but if you come out talking about artificial intelligence in 2002, yeah, people, but then, you know, so we were stuck with strategic management, you know, under conditions of repression. And that was too far ahead of most people, you know what I mean? That is the only thing that when you pipe into Allah and Allah start working on you, you be so far ahead of the people around that you have to figure out what method will we use to to communicate with the people.
Right. I think if call it, the strategy of redundancy is important because
Yes,
there's so much information that we're being presented with, even as, you know, it's bombarding the Muslims.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's very important, and you know, inshallah, people will.
No, alhamdulillah, I'm glad you reminded me of that, because every now and then people will forget. Well, I've heard that 1,000 times. Well, that's how you learn mathematics and everything.
Right.
You hear it over and over again,
Right.
and the more you count, the more you, and all that.
Right.
So, no, redundancy, alhamdulillah. Are there any questions or comments? Anything anybody wanted to?
Nothing came.
Huh?
Nothing came up.
Okay, nobody, no, okay. Okay then, we'll wrap it up. Aqulu qawli hadha, wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum. And we'll come back Tuesday. By Tuesday, I'm gonna try to, Tuesday maybe we'll make that, the other DVD that will go with the first one we made.
Okay.
Infomercial.
Right.